Why haven't you quit? I know you've thought about it. When you turn on the news and you hear about double-digit unemployment and stabbings in the school and public money gone missing, and then the power goes out, you want to quit. Quit your neighbor that's gotten too violent and move behind the gates. Quit your island that offers no good jobs and move to the capital. Or even quit the whole country if only you had anywhere else to go. Or maybe you just want to quit caring so much about a nation that seems lost. But you're all still here, and you haven't stopped caring. So why haven't you quit? Because Bahamians just aren't quitters. We are a nation of survivors, of fighters, of scrappers, from the times of the Lutheran adventurers right through to today. We've eaten starvation, piracy, slavery, and inequality, and we'll beat this too. We will fight until this economy works for everyone, until our children attack their exams instead of each other, and until their future shines as brightly as the lights, which always stay on. Getting to that brighter future requires accepting a simple truth. Any lasting solution for the Bahamas requires a more educated, more caring, and more civic-minded population. And that requires creating a nation of readers. Reading makes a nation great. Yes. Reading makes a nation great because those who read a lot know a lot, and their ideas grow an economy and enrich us all. Reading makes a nation great because those who read a lot tend to be happier and healthier. Readers feel more fulfilled at work and more satisfied with their job opportunities in life. Readers are more often likely to play sports. They donate their time and money more freely. They are even more likely to vote. Finally, those who read a lot become more empathetic, and their compassion and warmth creates a welcoming place for us all. Taken together, these effects make a nation that is economically and socially progressive, a nation that is protective and empathetic towards minorities, a nation, most importantly, that is safe for us all. Now, despite decades of evidence of the power of reading, we, like many other cultures, have an anti-reading culture. And that's surprising, because the evidence of the power of reading is right before us. It is an incredible competitive advantage, and it starts in school. Kids who enjoy reading read more often, and because of that, they score better in English than their peers. But they also get better grades in math and science and general knowledge, and that makes readers more likely to graduate high school and go to college. And college matters. In the United States, college graduates earn twice as much as high school dropouts. College can even keep our kids out of jail. A Northeastern University study found that among high school dropouts, they were 63 times more likely to be incarcerated than college graduates. 63 times. If you're a young parent right now, and you want to make sure that your child never sees the inside of a jail, do whatever it takes to turn him into a reader. Reading is something that has been with us for a very long time, but we haven't fully bought into it as a culture. If you doubt that, see if you can finish this saying for me. If you want to hide something from a Bahamian, put it in a... When everyone in the country can finish that ugly saying, you know the problem is real. Yes. And where has this anti-reading culture gotten us? Our schools have a D- annual average. Are we wise enough? Our economy shrinks and unemployment grows. Are we wealthy enough? Crime and fear of crime are at record highs. Are we happy enough? We suffer from one chronic disease after another. Are we healthy enough? If we can imagine for a second a Bahamas that has a culture of reading, a Bahamas where parents can't wake their children in the morning because they've been spending all night under the covers reading with flashlights, or a Bahamas where we see readers everywhere, on the beaches, in the playgrounds, in the streets. Can you imagine this new Bahamas being as angry and as frustrated as our current one? Or do you see a Bahamas filled with positive thinkers and doers. If we turn our newest generation of Bahamians into a generation of readers, then we will create a wiser, wealthier, happier, and healthier Bahamas. Now I have really good news for you. The key to creating a generation of readers is as simple as reading aloud. In 1983, the U.S. Department of Education found that the most effective way to raise student test scores across the curriculum and across the grades was to improve reading. They then took a further 2 years investigating methods of improving reading. Their conclusion: the most important factor in promoting reading to children was reading aloud to them. Just reading aloud. I always wonder if the authors of that study got fired after that. 2 years and their best answer was reading aloud? It couldn't be that simple, could it? But since then, we've learned a lot about how humans learn. We've learned that the years between 0 and 3 are when babies' brains are growing the fastest and absorbing the most information. We've learned that babies and toddlers learn best through loving interactions with adults. If you take a baby and place him in front of a TV screen without any adult interaction at all, that baby will not learn a thing, even if it is the most educational channel there is. But if you take that baby and put him on your lap and snuggle so he feels warm and protected, and sing to him or tell him a rhyme or read to him while pointing to the pictures, he will soak up your words like the desert soaks up rain. Reading aloud is the best way we have of connecting the pictures that babies see with the words that they hear. That's how babies learn. That's how they build listening comprehension and vocabulary or early language skills. And early language skills predict your child's school performance long before they put on their first school uniform. Children with better early language skills at age 2 score better in IQ tests and reading tests at age 8 or grade 3. And by grade 3, we can use reading level to predict which children will graduate high school and which will not. A University of Chicago study found that 55% of Chicago third graders that were reading below grade level failed to graduate high school. So, creating a nation of readers and academic achievers starts at home with reading aloud to children. But this is the exact opposite of how we think. We think that education is the sole responsibility of the schools. When we get bad results, we blame the teacher, or we blame the government, or we blame the children. But sending our children to school without sufficient early language skills, it's like sending them to art class without a paintbrush and then getting angry when they bring us back finger paintings. Schools can continue our children's academic journey, yes, but they cannot start it for us. Only the parents or guardians have that power. We started the Brighter Bahamas Foundation 3 years ago to give out free books in the hospitals and to share this message of the power of reading with parents. And we've been amazed how excited they are to receive that message. Parents like hearing that they can directly impact their child's education even if they weren't academically strong themselves. They're also usually relieved to hear that it's okay to feel a little self-conscious reading aloud. Many people do it first. I sure did. In fact, it's even okay if you can't read, because just singing nursery rhymes or telling stories while pointing to the pictures works just as well. All over the world, book interventions like these get great results because parents want what's best for their children. They just aren't always sure what that is. We've got to make it clear to them. Consider a lesson learned from Hurricane Joaquin. After Joaquin passed, the Southern Family Islands had a clear problem to solve. They urgently needed food, water, and supplies. Bahamians responded in record time. They didn't need to wait for any government-sponsored programs. They didn't hire any fancy foreign consultants. They just did it all themselves. Because when people have a concrete way to help, and they know their help will really make a difference, they will help and help and help. When we show parents the connection between reading aloud and their child's later success in life, they will read and read and read. Now, some of you may worry that no matter what the parents do, kids these days just won't like books. Initially, I was concerned too, but I was so wrong. We recently donated to a middle school that had no school library, Out of 10 classrooms, one had a classroom library that had 30 tattered books. Now they have 700 fun books, and those books are being checked out every day. The teacher wrote that the kids were enjoying the books so much that they were reading while walking between classes and colliding with the walls and each other. I immediately made a note to check whether our insurance covered reading-related injuries. And I also made a note to never underestimate our children's desire to learn. They just have to be given the tools to make it happen. We can all do something today to help create this next generation of readers. Parents, you are your child's first and most important teacher. Read to them every day, and they will be a year ahead of their peers by the time they enter school. A few minutes a night is all it takes. And keep reading to them even when they first start reading for themselves, because it will still be a while before they can read the kinds of interesting stories that you can read to them. Educators, you can increase the number of books in the school and increase programs like student quiet reading time. Quiet reading time is proven to better reading outcomes, and the more times a week you do it, the better your results. It's also important that teachers read during quiet reading time too. Everyone reads, no exceptions. We non-educators can help too by becoming reading role models. Bring a book with you the next time you have a long wait, like at the bank or in a doctor's office. Let the next generation of Bahamians see that yes, Bahamians do read. Or support a community library, and consider making books your gift of choice at holidays and birthday times. Nurturing and developing better citizens takes effort, but it's worth it. Consider the time and money we spend now on police, courts, reform schools, and prisons. Wouldn't it be cheaper and more effective to intervene when the child is young than to reform him when he's old? After all, Frederick Douglass said 200 years ago, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Reading is how we're going to build a generation of strong children. Reading is how we're going to make our nation great. So, why haven't we quit? Because we have just begun to fight. We are a nation of fighters, survivors, scrappers from the Lutheran adventurers right through to today. We've beaten starvation, piracy, slavery, and inequality, and we'll beat this too. We are going to get to our brighter future, and that change is going to happen in one generation. Our generation. We're going to keep spreading the message of the power of reading until the day comes when, if you still want to hide something from a Bahamian, the last place you'd want to put it is in a book.